On today's episode of the Box2Box podcast, the guys look at the weekend's fixtures just gone. They talk about the midweek games coming up, and they also look forward to the weekend games ahead. On to the podcast we go. Hello, and welcome to the 15th episode of the Box2Box podcast. Got another chance to go back. Myself and Rez added another episode, or two episodes last week, should I say? Sorry. One was a special we recorded just before Christmas, and another, the second one was last week's one. So now we're going to be back with this week's. And once again, I'm joined with Reza. How's it going, mate?
Well, I'm all right, mate. Full of cold, but yeah.
full of cold, but still alive.
Yeah.
Still going strong. And let's get into the games over the weekend. We'll start off with Leicester versus Leeds, which was the early kickoff. Leicester winning 1-0. How'd you see this one, mate?
Pretty even, I thought. I think Leeds gave a good account of themselves, considering the form that they're in. I mean, obviously, don't get it twisted. Leicester aren't the Leicester of last season and before that even. But I thought Leeds gave a good account of themselves. It could have gone either way. Kasper Schmeichel had a very, very good game.
Yeah, he was the best player on the pitch.
Yeah, and I think otherwise, Leeds will look back on this and think that it was a harsh result. They didn't deserve to lose, certainly. But fair play to Leicester. They got the win, got the goal. It was important. The position that they're in, they shouldn't really be in it. And it will be interesting to see how they progress from here. As for Leeds, they desperately need to start picking up some points soon.
Because I didn't think they were too bad, to be fair. I thought they did a lot better
like
than normal. Defensively, they were a lot better anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I mean. I think that the result was hard. I don't think they didn't deserve to lose the game, certainly. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, no, I don't think they did. But to be fair, what you say is you can't keep missing chances, can you really? There's more than one or two chances to win that game. More. It was more sort of 3-4. And they missed every single sitter.
Yeah, I think obviously for them, it's staying up, right? That's the thing. If they can stay up, then they can push on next season. They've got some really good players there. They've got a good team. Need to. Obviously, they lost their way.
They have had quite a few injuries, to be fair, though, as well. I was reading how many injuries they've had.
They have, but I mean, ultimately, you're in the Premier League. It's about squad management, and
of course,
ultimately, injuries do play a massive, massive part. But at the same time, you can't just sit kind of idly by and go, well, we've got injuries, because that's not going to wash at the end of the season when you're getting relegated and you're playing in the Championship again.
Yeah, you can't say, a lot of injuries. No, yeah, fair dues. I don't think there's much else you can really say about the game. I think you sort of said it all. We'll move swiftly on to the first 3 o'clock kickoff and the Philippe Coutinho show. In terms of Villa smashing Southampton 4-0. I genuinely didn't see this one coming. I thought Villa were going to win, but I didn't think it was going to be a smashing, and I genuinely think it was. I'm just going to have a look at the stats and get the stats up quickly. But as far as I remember, it was a smashing.
Oh yeah, Southampton weren't in the game, which was surprising.
To be fair, though,
I don't know whether that was just because it was one of those days for them, or Villa were very good, or probably obviously as usual, it's probably a mixture of the two, right?
Yeah.
But no, Villa were very, very impressive, and Coutinho, really, really good.
I think the thing is with Southampton, they seem to have this 2 or 3 times every year, where they will just have a game where they're just not at the races, and you're like, Jesus Christ, they get fucking hammered here. and this was just their one that they haven't had for a while.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But no, I say Villa were impressive, and that pass from Chambers
mm,
for it was the Douglas Luiz goal, so the second goal.
yeah,
Unbelievable pass. I mean, that is just an absolute thing of beauty.
no, yeah, it was really good. Got Watkins' goal though for the first one, lovely little turn,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
quite a few times Coutinho played a pass in that game. I was like, they should have scored that. They should have scored that. Jesus Christ, should have scored that. But yeah, it could have been 8-9 really if Villa would have scored their chances. Um, I don't really remember that much of a counter attack going the other way.
No, Southampton had nothing in this game.
It was a hammering.
Sorry, man, just coughing. No, so yeah, Southampton. It's surprising, really, and I mean, obviously, the Southampton manager is being mentioned for the United job, and I mean, they're too inconsistent. They seem to they were quite poor earlier in the season, Southampton, and they put together a run, and they've been quite good and fairly consistent. It's just
Yeah.
they're too prone to things like this, where they just don't turn up. They just get overrun completely.
It's like that, they just stay on the team bus. All of a sudden, oh shit, we were playing today, were we?
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's weird. It's a strange one. It's a problem.
No, it's a massive problem. But then I suppose that's why they are where they are in the league, and they are never normally higher than mid-table because of that reason.
They're ninth in the league, and when you look at the teams, you think that they're above Palace, who Palace are a tricky little team, and they've got some really good players.
Yeah.
And then Villa next, then Leicester, and Leicester obviously have no right to be where they are. So yeah, you do. They've got something, Southampton. It's just say every now and then
Yeah.
the whole team seems to just have a fucking brain fart at the same time, and that's it. It's just switch off.
Nah, yeah. I mean, to be fair, if you do go back, even under Ralph, is it Ralph Husenhaff or whatever his name? I can't remember. I don't know his surname.
Hassan Hutel.
That's it, Hassan Hoover. He if you look back on his reign over Southampton, there are 2, 3, 4, 5 games where you're like just out of the blue they just get absolutely smashed, like
What was it like?
smashed.
What did we do last year? Was it 8-0?
9, 9
9-0,
last year.
yeah.
Because I remember Scott McTominay
And
going,
that
we
was
want
two.
10.
It was 2 years in a row.
Yeah,
They got done 9-0 or something like that, and a
yeah,
mental stat. And so there's obviously clearly psychological issues within the team when they go behind, um, or when things aren't quite looking like it's going to go for them. Their players just switch off and just go, well, we'll just like fight another day kind of thing. It's just tomorrow's another day, and it just
today's not our day. Tomorrow's a better
no.
day.
And obviously we'll get to obviously United later, but it's similar to what United did in second half, and it's just you can't. It doesn't wash in football. I hate that kind of thing, and like I say, I don't know whether it's just a mentality thing or what with Southampton, but like yeah, they're prone to it. But yeah, Villa, massive win. 2 on the bounce now. 2 teams where they went into the game and you thought maybe they wouldn't get anything from either game.
Yeah,
They've got 6 from 6, and yeah, they're say a little bit of form again. Villa. We'll see obviously how long it continues. But
yeah.
certainly Coutinho's looking like a great signing, and they've got some fantastic players. Villa, they've built a really strong team there.
No, they have. No, they really have got a good team there. Right, that does that gone then. We'll move to the second one. The second game, or second 3 o'clock game, should I say? Burnley versus Chelsea. The tale of two halves. Chelsea winning 4-0. How do you see this one, Geese?
But the scoreline's complete flattery to Chelsea for a start. I don't think they were that good.
No.
Burnley had their chances.
Missed every single one of them.
Yeah, missed all. Yeah, all of them. Obviously,
Miraculously.
you look at the stats, and the stats are pretty damning. And you look at the stats, and then the result, and you're like, well, yeah, that seems fair, but it wasn't. Um, yeah, Chelsea can consider themselves reasonably lucky. That being said, Reece James,
What a right back.
fantastic,
What a right back.
absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
Thiago Silva,
Once again.
again,
That
as usual.
that man's always unbelievable, isn't he? Really.
Yeah, he's just absolutely something else. The rest of the team aren't that. Obviously, Havertz getting a couple of goals, but I don't know. He hasn't done what I thought he would do. I was really high on Havertz before they signed him. I don't really understand exactly what he does, what he's good at. Um, and
Chelsea
the rest
manager
of the
seems to
team,
like him a lot.
yeah. Well, I mean, listen, I mean, the other option is putting Lukaku up top, right? So it's yeah, Havertz. It is.
Inter Milan Lukaku.
Yeah,
After 3 seasons says I wish I never left Inter. All right, mate. No worries. Sweet. Cheers for that one, mate. Thanks.
that's jokes. But what do you think?
Oh, I genuinely, like I say, mate, Burnley should have been 4-3-4-0 up at half time. Um, and they weren't. They just didn't take any chance that they had. And then Reece James. I actually really like Reece James's goal. I thought it was class.
Yeah, yeah,
Cutting
no, it
inside,
was, it
cutting
was.
back outside, and smashing it in the bottom corner. I thought it was a really, really good goal. Especially against
Yeah,
someone like Nick Pope. We genuinely don't see that happen.
no, no,
He
it
normally
was. Yeah,
gets that,
he.
but yeah, that was what a goal that was. Take my hat off to him. But yeah, I thought it was very flattering for Chelsea to get a result like that. I didn't think it was a 4-0 game. Um, I suppose it's basically just that it was a game of one team can finish, another team can't. Basically, what it was. Every chance that Chelsea seemed to have, they finished. Every single chance that Burnley had, they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first goal destroyed Burnley because
Yeah,
the first goal was obviously very, very good. It was well taken goal. James did well, but then after that, the goals that Chelsea scored weren't that great, and it just seemed. This, was it the second goal? Was the cross to the far post?
yes, Havertz header.
Yeah, and you're like, there was no one picking him up. It was just, and
Very un-Burnley like.
yeah, I was just about to say that's bread and butter for Burnley. So I think the first goal, I think they looked at it, and it's easily done, right? You look and you think all the chances that they created, and they're looking going, we should have scored. And then when that starts to creep in, that mindset, oh, it's not our day, Southampton. Um, it does. It starts to then, and then obviously then Chelsea guys scored a fantastic goal. To be fair, it wasn't like a scrappy goal. It wasn't a known goal or something like that. But still, you look at that and you go, yeah, it's not our day.
It's
And then
just
from
not,
that
wasn't.
point on,
Yeah.
Burnley just seemed to just kind of just go, it's not our day, and just put their hands up and just go, yeah, we're done. So it was disappointing, but so Chelsea did what they had to do. They hung in there,
Yeah.
and got in the end what looks like a big result in terms, obviously, certainly from a scoreline perspective, it's a big result.
Well, I think they needed it with the pressure that was coming back on them for them to get top four. Um, they needed the 3 points, I think, personally. I think they were looking a bit
Yeah,
rocky, and they thought they got the 3 points that they needed, really.
yeah, they've been scrappy in recent weeks. Chelsea, they
Yeah.
haven't looked great.
They seem to turn up
That being
against the
said,
big boys. They don't turn up against the little
yeah,
teams.
I think it's a function of their style of play, though. I said it last season when Tuchel came in, and everyone was like, "Oh, look at this! Look how amazing this is!" And they won the Champions League, obviously. A lot of it was just very pragmatic football. It's built on a solid defense. They're playing three at the back, right? It's you expect them to be hard to beat,
No,
and I
I know
think
what you
that's what
mean.
they are.
It always worries me about how good Rudiger really is. I'm not going to say Thiago Silva in that bracket because I know Thiago Silva is one of the best centre backs I've ever seen. Um, but in terms of like players like Rudiger, because to me, normally if you play in a three, there's a reason why you play in a three as a back as a centre back. You're not good enough to play in a four or in a 4-4-2 or 4-3-3 or something like that as a centre back wise. Thiago Silva, I think you could stick him in anyway. It doesn't really matter about him, but I always worry about Rudiger just because
Yeah, I
you
know.
normally only see him in a back three for Chelsea. I've never really seen him in a back two, and I think when he did play as a back two with Chelsea, he wasn't as good as what he is right now.
Oh, I agree. I agree, and I think there will be a lot of teams scrambling for him in the summer. But you're right. Is he an answer for someone for a team like United, for example? Not sure. Only time will tell.
Yeah, it's
Um,
because I'm not comparing him to Maguire because I believe he's 100 times better than Maguire, but Maguire looked good for England in the World Cup. He was playing in a back three. Of course, he's going to look good.
yeah,
Like any defender that's playing in a back three is a reason why you're playing in a back three because the manager don't trust you to play in a back two.
yeah.
Is what I believe anyway. But
No, I
uh,
think there's an element of truth to that.
that's either here nor there now. They got the win, and that's the main thing for them. We'll move on then. Newcastle Brighton. Newcastle taking the game 2-1. Brighton. I genuinely, if Brighton didn't have 33 points, I said they're going down.
Yeah,
It,
Brighton are an odd one. They so they were pretty toothless going forward, but we know that about Brighton. What surprised me is how defensively fragile they looked in this game.
yeah, it did look a
Um,
bit of an odd one.
yeah,
Um,
like you say, will sorry, I was going to
all right.
sneeze. Oh, mate, I'm in a
He's in a
bad way.
bad way. Bless you, mate.
um, but yeah, again, Newcastle they've got the bit between their teeth. They're looking really really good. Um, and you're right. I think if you're a Brighton fan and they were on mid to late 20s and not early 30s, you would be thinking, "Oh, this isn't good."
Yeah,
Um,
it's what we said about them last week, really, because you got to think like they're on 33 points, so 40 points this year is going to get you safe, really, realistically, just because of the simple fact that Burnley are on 21 and they've played 26, so and they're 18th, so you think they're not going to get 19 points in 12 games?
to be honest, I'd be surprised if a team. Let me put it the other way. I won't be surprised if a team gets relegated, finished third from bottom with like 32, 33 points.
Yeah, so that's
I
what I'm
think is quite
saying.
low.
So I don't think Burnley are going to get 40 points at all. So I think
No,
if any team wants to avoid relegation, if you get 40 points, I think you're safe.
100%. Like, I mean, I'd be surprised if Burnley get to 33, which is what Brighton, Leicester, and Villa and Palace are on now. I'd be very surprised if they even get to that.
I suppose with them it just depends on what Burnley turns up because they've been good. They just can't score. So it just
Yeah,
depends if they start scoring. I mean, you got to look at sort of like you like Leeds. Brentford got a very nice win at the weekend, which we go on to next game. But that's why I sort of worry about some of the teams down there with the points. But like you say, yeah, I don't think any of them are going to get near 40 points. That's what I was only saying
no,
40
I
points
think,
just as a guaranteed. And I'd think
yeah.
within the next 11 games that Brighton have left, I'd think they'd pick up 7 points in 11 games. I'd have thought they
Yeah,
would do.
yeah. Oh, they are safe. They are too good a team to go down. What will be interesting for Brighton is, do they address their issues in the summer? Because their issues are obvious, and they've been obvious for a few seasons now. They cannot finish. Do they address that? And obviously, there's a risk, right? I mean, Newcastle spent 40 million on Joe Linton as a striker, and he's now one of their better central midfielders. So you don't know. There's no guarantees
Yeah.
with what you're going to get. Even spending 40 million, Haller as well for West Ham. Although that being said, he's at Ajax currently, isn't he? And he's tearing it up.
Smashing it at Ajax. Yeah.
So again, it's just different players, different systems, different leagues, etc. So you just don't know. It's not as easy. I think Brighton fans go, "Oh, need to sign a striker," and they get all giddy because it's like, "Oh, we're going to sign this striker." It's like you don't even know who they are, and they're just getting giddy about it. But it'll be interesting to see if Potter stays as well.
I think
I can
I think
see.
they've got a lot more problems than just a striker this year. In all honesty, I think Basuma goes, and I think that's a
Yeah, I
massive worry
agree.
for him. I think Lamptey's going to go as well in the summer. I think he's going to be off. So it's going to get to a point where their best two players by far are going to leave. So they're gonna a lot of play goes through Lamptey for them whenever I've watched them. So a lot of play goes through Lamptey. Basuma seems to be their main man in midfield. So I think they're going to have to replace both of those two, and not only replace both of those two, they need someone who can actually finish the ball.
Yeah,
So that's what I say. And then with the same thing as is Graham Potter going to be there this summer? That's another question mark. So you're a bit like, wow, Jesus Christ, it's going to get to a point where you're like, well, could be Brighton's last season in the Premier League next year.
yeah. I mean, we'll see. There's obviously a lot. Obviously, next season you'd expect Newcastle to not be there because obviously they're going to spend money. You'd expect Everton to not be there because, well, they're just too good for that. Again, you'd expect Leeds to not be down there. So then, when you look at that and you take those teams and move them up, then suddenly Brighton are right in it. So yeah, next season it'll be a worrying summer for Brighton fans. I think in terms of the future, I think there's that being said, it could go the complete other way. They get a striker who does score goals, Potter stays, and then suddenly they're pushing mid-table. So
No,
who
I
knows? It
think
could go
you're
either
right
way.
there. It could go. I think the one thing for them is how many players they're going to have to replace. Because trying to replace Basuma, it's okay bringing these youth players in. Like that's fine. You can bring a player in with youth, but when you're relying on him in the centre of midfield to be your unbelievable player and to make things happen, it's not the best to have someone that's a youngster that you're relying on to get all this stuff done, and you don't really know anything about him. He's got to settle in with Brighton. He's got to settle in with everything. So it's going to be very difficult to replace Basuma. That's the only thing I feel, and I think he's gone.
Well, yeah, I mean it's almost impossible to replace him, but I agree. I think he goes in the summer. But talk about the other team, Newcastle.
Mm.
Say that they're looking pretty good at the moment, unbeaten in their last five. I had doubts when they announced Eddie Howe as their manager, but I'm pleased for him. I've always liked Eddie Howe. I always thought he had real potential. So I
Yeah,
am pleased for him in a way. Obviously, next season, I'm worried about what happens, how much money they'll have to spend in the summer, who goes there, and are they suddenly going to be challenging that top eight? Because when you look at the league table now, there's 5 points, eighth to ninth, and then there is that 2 points, ninth to 13th, only 7 points. Well, let's go 8 points, ninth to 15th.
yeah,
Um, it's tight, and it's almost like you've got a top eight, and you'd expect or you'd anticipate Newcastle will be looking to break into that next season with the money they'll go and spend.
yeah,
So you've got almost like you'll have a top nine, and I think for what it's worth, I can't see any of the current top eight. That obviously that's City down to Wolves dropping out of that next season. You'd expect Leicester to be a bit better as well. So you could end up with almost like the table would literally just be two halves. You'd have a top 10 and a bottom 10, and that's the way that they are. And it'll be surprising to see one of the top 10 drop into the bottom and vice versa, it's not a good thing for what it's worth. It's not a good thing at all.
No, of course.
But I can see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think even next year, even no matter how much they spend, I don't think they're going to be challenging for like top four, or maybe even top six.
No,
I
no.
don't think it's too early. It's still too soon.
100%.
And I still don't know whether Eddie Howe is still the man to do that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you there. But Everton, another team as well. So I think the Premier League's going to get, like I say, it's going to get interesting in terms of there's going to be. Whereas before you had, obviously, originally you had the two, right? It was United and Arsenal. Then it was United, Chelsea, Arsenal. Then it was United, Chelsea, City, and United, Chelsea, City, and then obviously now Liverpool have joined. Arsenal kind of dropped away, but the kind of notion of the big six, I don't think it's going to. I think within the next couple of seasons, the whole landscape in the Premier League is going to shift. Then we're going to see some big changes, and Newcastle are going to be at the forefront of that, scarily, because they've just got money to
burn.
I mean, they could buy every single team in the Premier League with ease.
Well, what will happen is you will start to get these players that are not over the hill, but like that are very good still, but they've only got maybe 1 or 2 years left before they retire, or before you get to the point where you're not as good anymore. And they will start to get some of those, as well as some of the best young talent that will go with it. It's sort of the same way that City did it when they picked up like Robinho and a couple other players that were very, very good, which got them up the table a bit more. And as they start to get further and further up, they'll just start to sign more and more players.
Yeah. No, I think that's the model that they'll have to follow that because of where they are. They're not that dissimilar to Man City. If anything, you'd say they're bigger than City were.
Yeah.
When City were taken over. They've got certainly a bigger fan base.
Definitely got a bigger fan base.
They've probably still got a bigger fan base than City have now.
Probably, to be fair, yeah.
So they're starting from a higher baseline, but obviously financial fair play and everything. The league are going to be looking at it. They're going to be looking at them very, very closely because there are 18 unhappy teams in the Premier League looking at that going, well, how is this even... How did you allow this? For so long, you resisted it. And then suddenly it's like, oh, yeah, no, this is signed. It's, yeah.
A few backhanders, and that's how.
There was, of course, mate. You can guarantee that. And the only team that didn't basically vote against or haven't had anything against it to say was City, naturally.
Yeah.
The rest of the league were like, hang on a second, this isn't right. But we'll see.
I don't know how Chelsea could have been in that bracket. Like, they're sitting there going, nah, this ain't right. That pot calling the kettle black?
Yeah, to be fair to Chelsea, the one thing I would say about Chelsea is they've always been a bigger team, certainly than Man City.
Oh, yeah, Man City were in League One a few years back.
I mean, you think that even back in the day, Premier League, like early years, I remember Chelsea with the likes of Dennis Wise, and even like Gavin Peacock, obviously Zola, Vialli. They've always had good players, a good team. So Chelsea were a little different in their defence, but at the same time, you're right. I mean, it was oil money came in, they lapped it up. Now they're they're getting on their high horse, going, "Nah, hang on a second, this isn't right." Like, well, you started this.
You started it, yeah. Nah,
yeah.
Now it's fucked. Anyway, let's move on, where we seem to be getting off topic of this week's games. So we'll move on to the main man for Brentford, Mr. Ivan Toney, scoring Lovely hat trick at the weekend. Just what makes me laugh is us talking about it last week when you go, I think Norwich could do them here. And you go, yeah, Tony's back. Okay, no way. So Brentford are going to win. Um, and he scores a hat trick, then winning obviously 3-1, of course. Um,
So
wow. I've never seen a penalty like his, called as you like. Just literally stares at the goalkeeper the whole time he's walking forward and then smashes it in the bottom corner 2 times in a row. Just think there's someone like Krul who genuinely is quite a good penalty stopper. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Ericsson had a great game as well. His first proper 90 minutes.
yeah,
Norwich.
Norwich had chances though. The thing is, again, you'll look at it and go, Brentford, easy victory. See, there were 2 pens. No complaints about the pens, but they were 2 penalties.
Yeah.
Norwich had chances. Again, Norwich will look back on games like this, and these are the games that define Norwich's season. That they just don't quite have enough in the right areas.
Yeah.
Because they can count
Actually.
themselves somewhat unfortunate to be on the end of a 3-1 defeat in this game, I think. Certainly from what I saw, they weren't that bad. But big win, yeah, for Brentford. Tony, I mean, say a nice hat trick, obviously, 2 pens, but because they want to slide Brentford, and say it could be it's a real big pivotal win for them potentially.
They needed that
Moving
big
forward.
time.
Yeah,
They really
massively
needed
so.
that win. And if Tony can get back going with Christian Eriksen involved as well, I think they could be a good little side.
Did you see the Williams Ericsson moment? That was
Yeah.
nice.
That's quite
Nice. He
funny.
grabbed him as if he was about to give him
Yeah.
good hiding, and then he realised who it was. He was like, "Oh shit, it's you!" And yeah, gave him a hug. And it was nice. It was quite. It kind of it shows like it shows humanity in football, which is nice. We don't often get to see it. So
No.
I thought it was a really nice moment.
Yeah, no, it was. And I don't think there's much else you can really say about the game, really. Without trying to cut it short and not give Brentford their dues. They got a very deserved win that they needed to get. Really.
Yep.
Do you want to move on to the next one? The
Yeah.
last 3 o'clock kickoff, which was Wolves versus Palace. Palace winning 2-0. How do you see this one, Geese?
Surprised. I was very surprised. Wolves, just a bit. Don't know what's going on with them. They
Meh.
up until a couple of games ago, they were like the form team. They were playing really well, playing some really nice stuff, and they looked like they were going to make a run for the top 4.
Yeah.
Um, and then the past few games, all of a sudden, it's just fallen away. Fair play. Palace were a difficult team to play. They've got some really good players.
Yeah.
Some tricky, quick, technically very good players. That Mateta striker, very good.
Yeah.
He played really well. Obviously, Elise was always good. Gallagher, superb again. Zaha, great. They're a very good side. But I was surprised by how poor Wolves looked. And like I say, take nothing away from Palace because they're a very difficult side to play. Every team in the Premier League will find them hard on their day because of
Yeah.
the players they have. But I thought I thought Wolves would win this game.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. It's hard to. Palace were very good though. I thought I've got to give it to them. Wolves, to be fair though, I swear they do this every single year. As soon as they're like safe, they tend to sort of go on this. We're okay now to the end of the season. And they're on 40 points. I know they're pushing for top 4. Realistically, they're never. Without being horrible, they're never going to get it. And I just think they always tend to do this little push where they just don't bother anymore. It's like they're already ready for their summer holidays. now. It's
Yeah,
only
I mean,
it's only March.
I, I hope that because they've got a really good team. So I hope that's not the case. But I know what you're saying, and you'd be disappointed as a Wolves fan because you'd be looking at it going, okay, listen, you're not getting top four. We know that. But at least push for it, try for it, because you're going to get into Europe. No one wants to be in the bloody Europa Conference, whatever it's called. Um, but Europa League's a possibility because it's
Yeah,
so tight in there. Um, from from fourth to eighth, it's
yeah,
tight. It's really tight. And up until this weekend, Wolves were in it. They're in amongst it. But so their fans will be disappointed. But yes, well done, Palace. Really good. Good game, good result, good performance.
yeah. That pretty much sums it up. Last thing I'll say before we do move on, shout out to their keeper, Sarr, Wolves' goalkeeper. Without him, I swear to God, it'll be 5 or 6. He pulled off some fucking worldy saves in that game. Um, but yeah, we'll move on to the last game on the Saturday then, which was the 5:30 kickoff, Liverpool West Ham. Liverpool taking it 1-0. How do you see this one?
Lucky, 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 lucky.
I swear Lanzini's a secret Liverpool fan.
He's got to be something. Absolute jokes. Um, yeah, that. I was surprised at how easily West Ham got at that Liverpool defence.
Yeah,
Um, really, really easily. I know that West Ham are big, they're strong, and they're quick, and no one likes to play against a team like that at all. But West Ham gave Liverpool a real good game here, and on another day, Liverpool don't walk away with 3 points, so they can count themselves somewhat fortunate.
yeah,
Obviously, it was a tight offside as well. Again, it's one of those where on another day, the ball comes in literally like a millisecond later, and Mane's offside.
yeah. No, I see what you mean, mate. I do know what you mean.
But it's the old adage. It's a championship winning performance,
Oh, that's
right?
literally what I've got on my notes here. Just
Uh,
a
Things
typical
are going
championship.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, things go your way. And it is. It's whether it's momentum, luck, however you want to call it, however you want to define it. They've definitely got that behind them. Um, I'm not going to get into conspiracy theories and all of that because most of the time I think it's nonsense. But Liverpool do always seem to get the rub of the green. They seem to, particularly from pundits and officials, they always seem to be the team that everyone's rooting for. I don't know why. Obviously, coming from a Man United fan, that's completely understandable. Um, I don't know what the loving is and why they get the rub of the green so frequently. I'm not saying for 1 second Mane was offside for what it's worth. He was onside. But just things seem to go their way, and everyone's like, "Oh, great result for Liverpool." It's like, nah. I mean, West Ham can count themselves, consider themselves very, very unlucky in that game. Very unlucky.
I think if I don't know if you saw the Capital One or the Carabao Cup final in the end. It was exactly the same as Lukaku's offside when Lukaku was deemed offside, um, and that was offside. And then in the Liverpool's game, it wasn't offside.
I mean, the one thing I'd say with anything like that is you have to put a certain amount of trust into the tech and believe that it's not nothing fishy, nothing funny, and everything's the same. Um, because you can't believe that there's anything untoward going on. You just can't, because otherwise it just ruins the game. So you have to believe it was onside. From the lines that were drawn, it was onside, obviously.
Oh, it was onside.
And
I'm not saying it
it
wasn't
just,
onside.
you're
I'm
saying
saying
Lukaku's
Lukaku's was
also,
onside, and it was not given as
yeah.
onside.
I
So
haven't seen it, so I can't comment. But again, it wouldn't surprise me, given obviously my previous statement. It just wouldn't surprise me.
nah, yeah, nice, yeah. Oh god. Anyway, yeah, good win for Liverpool. I say good win. I literally just said what you just said. A win for Liverpool. Um, it was a typical ugly win Is basically what I'd say. What I'd call an ugly
Yeah,
win.
you have to win those games to win the league. You have to,
Yeah,
and they won it. Fair play to them. They've got the bit between their teeth. And to be fair, they had chances too. Right, it wasn't all West Ham. It's not like it was all West Ham and Liverpool got lucky. They had
yeah.
chances too,
No, they
Liverpool.
did.
But West Ham fans must be looking at Lanzini and being like, "What were you doing?"
I don't even know. I don't even think he
It's
knows
just
what he's fucking doing.
no. I mean, obviously Rice was out, so that's why he played. I think.
Jesus. Yeah. That explains everything then. We'll swiftly move on from that game then. We'll move to the first of the Sunday kickoffs. Watford versus Arsenal. Arsenal taking this one 3-2. Clear top four.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
if
I
they
guess
don't get top
so.
four from here, Arteta needs to be sacked. Really, is what I think.
Yeah. The only thing I'd say, so obviously we being United, played Watford last weekend, and Watford could not lay a glove on us. Um, and it was just by pure chance they got a result, right? United's finishing was shocking. They scored 2 goals against Arsenal yesterday. They didn't look like they were going to score. You could have given Watford 180 minutes and they wouldn't have scored against United the week before. I'd be worried about Arsenal's defence from that perspective.
Yeah.
But massive, I say massive win. It is Watford. You'd expect them to win. And to be honest, for what it's worth, I wouldn't have put Watford scoring 2 goals down at all. Big win, some superb goals.
Oh, it was filled with goals. Good goals.
Odegaard's first for Arsenal was absolutely superb. Really, really good play. Fantastic play. Obviously, Hernandez's goal, unbelievable finish.
Yeah.
And then Martinelli's goal at
Mhm.
the end again. Really good goal. Really well taken. Really well played. So they're looking good at the moment, Arsenal. 3 games in hand and a point above 5th place. So it's looking good for them at the moment. And you're probably right. From this position, you'd probably expect them to kick on and get that 4th
Well,
place.
you've got to think they're 1 point ahead of us as it is. They've got 3 games in hand over us. So effectively, they could go 9 points clear of us with 10 games to go. If you're losing a
Yeah,
9 point lead in 10 games, you don't deserve to be anywhere near the top four.
no, true. But looking at their fixtures, mate, it's not as easy as it might seem. So they've
I'm
got
hoping
Leicester.
it's Liverpool, Chelsea, Man
They've
United,
got
Tottenham.
they've got Leicester, Liverpool, Villa, Palace, Brighton, Southampton, United, West Ham, Leeds, Newcastle, Everton.
So they've got
So
literally like
you've got
everyone that's either relegation bound or going for top four,
yeah,
apart from Villa and Villa, Palace,
yeah,
Brighton.
yeah. So it's not particularly easy run. So who knows? There's a lot of football to be played yet, especially by them. But they're in a good place, and Arsenal fans will probably be chuffed to bits considering all the stick that Arteta's got. And I mean, I've given him stick as well for what it's worth. I didn't think he was worth it. I was frustrated, I think, with a lot of the love that he got early days when they were playing badly. When on the flip side, Ollie and Frank Lampard as well, for what it's worth, when he was at Chelsea, were getting absolutely ruined
Every week.
by the media. Yeah. And yet Arteta was always afforded some leeway. Same thing with Gerrard at Villa. We touched on it last week, I think. Same thing
Yeah,
with
we did.
Gerrard at Villa. The media have their favourites. And so it's just, yeah, it's one of those things, unfortunately. Chelsea aren't liked, United aren't liked. But for some reason, Liverpool and Arsenal seem to be teams that the press generally like. And so your next player, you're good to go. But he's doing well now. And say it kind of shows that if you have a plan, you have a clear plan, you stick to it, then good things can happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, they are favourites for top four now, but we'll see. There's a lot to say. There's a lot of football to be played, and it is still Arsenal.
Yeah. I suppose they could bottle it. You never know. Right, that does that one then. So I suppose we better move on to the inevitable. City United. City taking it obviously 4-1. Um, I let you go. I didn't get to see the first half properly. I was watching it on my phone. I was at my nephew's 5th birthday. So I didn't get to watch the first half. I watched the second half and I thought, what the fuck is this shit? But I'll let you go as soon as you probably watched the first half. What was we like first half?
Really good. Really good. I know that we went in at half time 2-1 down, but their two goals were poor defensive. We were poor defensively. But up until that point, in terms of football, we were playing good football. We weren't sitting deep and just trying to hit them on the break. We were actually playing through them. And I was like, this is exactly what I want. This is exactly what I've wanted this entire time. Like, we're actually playing fucking football. Their goals were poor. They targeted the right hand side of United's defence. And you could see why in the end. Wan-Bissaka was he was isolated in his defence, but he is terrible. Clueless. His positional awareness is awful. And then you've got Maguire and Lindelof looks a much better defender when everyone looks much better when Harry Maguire's not next to them.
I'd be better.
And then obviously, I don't know if you've seen it, but it was their second goal. De Gea makes the save, and as it comes out, Harry Maguire lets the ball run through his legs rather than just kick it out, get rid of it, kick it out for a corner.
Yeah. No, I saw it. I was kind of hoping what my eyes saw weren't right, but
and you're like, well, what are you doing? Why are you letting the ball just run free in your 18-yard box? As a defender, I don't care how much you cost. Ignore the price tag. As a defender, your duty, you don't let that happen. So it was shocking defending, but the rest of the team looked pretty good. The second half, which is obviously the half that you saw.
What the fuck was that?
Something is wrong with the team, and it was obviously a mental thing. When they come out for the second half of games, it's almost like they left their brains in the fucking changing room. Because they just come out and it's like you could put zombies out on that pitch and they'd do a better job. So then City then go on the back of that, City go and score their third. At which point you're thinking, well, it's basically game over. You'd expect City to win from there because it's City and they are just that good.
Yeah.
But no, United decide that is it and everyone stops. For what it's worth, the analysis will show the likes of McTominay and that not chasing anyone down, not closing. That was basically happening the entire time. It's not a new thing. There's a lack of desire. There's a lack of commitment. There's a lot of noises coming out of the club. Obviously, yesterday was Ronaldo. Cavani apparently turned around and said he's not fit to play, but yet he trained for 3 days leading up to that game. Ronaldo wasn't even in the country. There were issues.
Yeah, I saw someone saying apparently the leak's coming from Rashford. That's where apparently the leak keeps coming from here because Rashford, Fabrizio Romano, I could never get his fucking name right.
I know.
Romano said today that Rashford's thinking of leaving.
Yeah,
because he's worried about his lack of game time. And they think that that's where the leak is coming from. For all this, because Ronaldo apparently refused to play.
Yeah, he's not right anyway. Rashford. There's something wrong there because he's just off the boil completely.
Yeah, I don't know what's
Um,
happened to him. I really don't.
no, no. Obviously, the players are seemingly unhappy with Ranić's methods. Well, I mean, they just need to suck it up because at the end of the day, he is the manager until May, or end of May. Um, it's pretty disgraceful the way that the players are responding and reacting. And obviously, there'll be an element of truth to these rumours because they've come from somewhere, right?
Yeah,
This
they've had to
information's
come
come
from
from
something.
somewhere.
It's not from no one. And the thing is I don't know if you saw as an interview with Gary Neville talking about the same people whose agents tell the press about what's going on. The press then go and tell Gary Neville who told him. So he knows exactly where the leaks are coming from.
Yeah. No, mate, the club's a shambles at the moment. I don't know how you fix it because even players like, I mean, Armir yesterday was annoying me because he was like, "Oh yeah, but Fernandez, like, it's like, no, listen, Fernandez is just as guilty as the rest of the players. His performances have been poor recently, gives the ball away continually, and then blames everyone around him, and that's going to destroy morale. Ronaldo's the same, throwing hissy fits left, right, and centre. It's destroying morale. There are massive issues. In my opinion, in my mind, I think what's happened, the players had it so easy for so long.
I don't know what hard work is
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah, literally. We were bottom of the league for running stats, blocking, blocks, tackles, everything. Bottom of the league under Solskjaer.
Mhm.
And now suddenly they're being asked to work. And it's like, how dare you ask me to work? The last guy didn't ask me to work. I like the last guy. It's like, well, of course you like the last guy. You're getting paid like 100 grand a week and you literally just sat on your ass fucking all week doing nothing. Sorry, mate.
No, yeah, I know
Um,
what you mean.
but
What they're gonna expect though. Are they expecting the new guy that's gonna come in is just gonna be like, yeah, you'd have to work. Yeah, you could make the way back.
the thing is, the problem with the club have made this. Ollie should never have been given the job in the first place. He shouldn't have been. He was never good enough. And most people could see that. The majority of people could see that. There was hope, obviously. You hoped that he'd be better just because he's ex United and you know that he'd be with the club for the next 15, 20 years.
Yeah,
But you could see the football shocking. So then, but the club were like, oh no, this is good. He's cheap and everyone's happy. The players all happy. They're singing his praises, but the fucking performances were shit. Now they've gone, we need someone else. We need a different idea. Oh, what does everyone play? Pressing football. Let's go and get someone who plays pressing football. Let's go and get the fucking godfather of pressing football. The problem with that is you've gone a team that doesn't run to expect them to run like Liverpool do. Not going to happen. It
no,
took years for them to build that team.
no, it took a good 3, 4 years.
United this season, in my opinion, this season was a write-off anyway. I think they wrote it off when Ranić was appointed. I think they just said, whatever happens, happens. If we don't get top four, don't get top four. I don't think they're fussed for what it's worth because if Ronaldo goes, Pogba goes, Mata goes, Matic goes, Lingard goes, Rashford goes, Martial goes, if all of these players go, you're talking about millions of pounds every week off the wage bill.
Mm.
Cavani goes.
They'll just get new
You're talking
players
about,
in.
yeah, you're talking about millions of pounds off the wage bill.
Mhm.
And then you bring in a manager like Ten Hag, who's used to promoting youth, using good young technical players, technically,
Gifted.
yeah, that's the right thing. Yeah, technically gifted players. So then basically, you've just literally your wage bill is cut because these young players aren't obviously going to demand anywhere near as much. And I think that's the plan. I honestly think that is. I'd like to think that's the plan. At least that'd be a plan. But whether or not the club actually has a plan is another matter
Well, I
because they're just
think
kind of.
that's the reason why though Martial has gone on loan with no option to buy. Same with Donny van den Beek. I think they're basically going to say to this new manager in the summer, look, who do you want gone? Who do you want to keep? And
Yeah.
if you don't want anyone, then they'll just go. They're like, okay, I can go then, and they'll sell them,
The
get rid of
only
them.
the only issue is, as United fans, we've got to accept that we're going to have, like Liverpool did under Klopp, a good 2 to 3 years of ups and downs, inconsistencies, but they have to believe in the process. They have to believe in the process.
They
Um,
have to,
the
but
one,
to do that, they have to start getting the right players in
yeah, and
to
playing the
know
right
that.
football.
Yeah,
That's the thing. I think that the biggest thing is obviously, look, Arsenal had it under Arteta. You could see what style of play. That was the one thing I always said about Arteta. That was the difference between Arteta, Lampard, and Solskjaer. Lampard and Solskjaer never really knew what they were trying to achieve. Arteta, you could see what he was trying to do, just didn't have the players to implement it. And it takes time. United aren't a club that's built on gifted technical footballers. We haven't. Even Ronaldo, when you think back and you look at our players, we'd have one or two really technically gifted players. The rest of them work hard, run fast, strong, good attitude. Those are the kind of attributes that Ferguson used to admire.
yeah,
Obviously, I'm not saying they weren't technically gifted players, but you compare, for example, our peak team, which was what, 08, 09, that team.
fucking hell, yeah, you ain't getting
Um,
better
you
than that.
compare you compare that to Barca, for example, around the same time period, and the differences are stark, right? In terms of the personnel,
Yeah,
both fantastic teams, but technically Barcelona was something else.
that that Barcelona team is probably one of the best teams ever. Probably is the best team ever.
It is the best team ever. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is. There's no two ways about it. I don't care what any Liverpool fan says. It's the best team. It'll only be Liverpool fans who probably claim otherwise. To be fair, for what it's worth, but it is the best team. Um, but anyways, let's talk City. City were good though.
oh, they were very good,
Um,
very good.
the moment they got the bit between their teeth, they were just like, yeah, we're not letting this go. De Bruyne, superb.
He looked like he was wound up.
Cancelo,
That the amount of people have been
yeah,
comparing him to fucking Fernandez all the time. He looked like he was proper wound up about it and just went, okay, keep comparing me to this guy, do you? I'm gonna fucking destroy him today. It's
yeah.
basically what he was
Cancelo
saying.
was very good. Foden was good. I tell you what, Jack Grealish is a massive prick. You can tell he's a massive fucking cocksucking prick. Just so arrogant and goes down so easily as well. It's just, but he's technically a very gifted footballer. Mahrez did well as well. He he was isolated the entire first half. Basically, the ball didn't get to him at all. I don't think it was
No,
only the second half. Then he started coming into the game.
his first goal was, I thought was well good.
Um,
When the ball came in, I was
yeah,
like, oh my god, Jesus Christ! It's like, I wasn't even pissed off at the fact that it went in. I was like, Jesus, that's a good goal.
yeah.
Just sitting like,
Again, though, the problem is it shouldn't. The ball shouldn't have got to him. It shouldn't have been
no,
allowed. But
yeah, I know that.
it's by the by. But yeah, City did well. City did really well, and I mean, they had like 90 odd percent possession for like a 15-minute period in the second half, mate. 92%, I think it was mental.
Yeah,
United gave up at that point, though. That's the caveat to that. United just gave up. They just didn't. I don't want to say it sounds awful, but they didn't care. You did well to miss it.
I didn't mean to.
It's embarrassing.
So yeah, nephew's birthday and all that. But yeah, I think that covers the games from this weekend. I don't think we can really talk much about it more.
No.
Team of the week. You want to run through this quickly?
Yeah.
I've got Schmeichel in goal. What you got?
Yeah, likewise, Schmeichel. I did special mention for Raya, Brentford's goalkeeper. I
Yeah,
thought early doors he kept them in the game, kept
yeah, no,
Norwich
yeah,
out.
yeah. I can see that.
And I say obviously led to a big result for them. But yeah,
Defense.
Schmeichel. So I've gone for James,
Yep, same.
Chambers, Silva, Cancelo.
Fair enough. I've gone for James, the Newcastle centre back who scored. I can't pronounce his name. Shaw. Shaw.
Yeah,
Thiago Silva, Cancelo.
okay.
Midfield. Are you gone full?
Yeah,
Have you done your normal 4-2-3-1?
No, I've actually gone 4-3-3 this time because
Oh.
obviously you laugh at me every week. But one thing I have to say, Chambers, the reason I put him in because that pass was disgusting.
That pass alone got him in.
Mate, yeah, 100%. It was disgusting.
Go on, midfield three then.
So I've gone Odegaard, Keita, De Bruyne.
Ah, fair enough. I see. This is the reason why. So I've put Havertz in the midfield just 'cause I wanted to get him in. That's the only way he's getting in. I put Havertz, KDB, Odegaard. I'm not gonna have any defenders. Don't worry about it. My back four's good enough. Don't need CDM.
Fair enough.
Front three. I've gone Saka, Ivan Toney, and Coutinho.
Yeah, I've gone Coutinho, Havertz, Tony.
Oh, fair enough. Right, that does the team of the week. Goal of the week.
Yeah, so there's a few mentions. The Louise goal for Villa,
Yeah,
mainly because of the pass from Chambers. Odegaard's goal for Arsenal,
yeah,
great goal. Martinelli's goal for Arsenal as well. Again,
great
very,
goal.
very good goal.
Yeah,
But my favourite, just because it's such a hard thing to do, is the Hernandez goal for Watford.
yeah. I've got that's my goal of the week as well. Another mention though to Reece James as well. His goal was class.
Yeah, it was a good goal.
All right, that does that then. So let's move on to the week ahead. We've got some midweek games as well, which is Thursday games. Last week, let's have a look at last week just before we move forward. You got 6 results correct last week in terms of the team winning, and you got 1 bang on the nail, and I only got 4 last week. So you did really
What did I
well.
get right?
The one you got exactly right was
Yeah,
Newcastle beating Brighton 2-1.
but otherwise I got 6 out of the 9.
6 out of the 10. We got the
10.
Spurs Everton game going on right now, but obviously
Okay, yeah.
it's not finished just yet. So yeah, that does that one. So the first of the midweek games, Norwich Chelsea. How are you seeing this one play out?
Chelsea, easy. 2-0.
I've gone 4-0 Chelsea. I mean, smash them. Southampton Newcastle.
I'm going to go draw 1-1.
I'm gonna go 2-1 Newcastle. Wolves versus Watford.
1-0 Watford.
1-0 Watford. Hello. I'm gonna go 1-0 Wolves. Then you've got Leeds Villa.
1-0 Villa.
I'm gonna go 2-1 Villa. Right, so we move on to the first of the weekend. So you got the early kickoffs, Brighton Liverpool.
2-0 Liverpool.
I reckon Brighton will score, but it'll be 3-1 Liverpool. Brentford Burnley. I've gone 2-1 Brentford.
I'm going to go 1-0 Burnley.
Oh, United Spurs.
2-0 United.
I've gone 3-0. Optimistic. Here we are at the box to box. Chelsea versus Newcastle.
I'm going to go 2-0 Chelsea.
I'm gonna go 1-0. Everton Wolves. I'm gonna go 2-1 Everton.
Okay. I'll go 1-0.
Leeds Norwich.
Oh, 1-0 Leeds.
I've got 1-0 Leeds as well. Southampton. I get it out now. Southampton Watford. I'm gonna go 1-0.
No, the Watford win, mate. They're climbing. 1-0 Watford.
Watford every week 1-0. West Ham Villa. That should be a great game. That will. Jesus.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. Oh, it could go either way.
I'm gonna go West Ham 2-1.
You
You
know, the
go.
other way, 2-1 Villa.
Oh. 2-1 Villa. Arsenal versus Leicester.
1-0 Leicester.
I was going to say the same. It's just because I want that to happen.
Yeah.
And then the last game on the weekend is the Monday night kickoff, Palace versus City.
2-1 City.
2-1 City. I'm going to go 1-0 City.
This could be a real banana skin, you know, and I hope it's not because I can't see Brighton getting anything against Liverpool, and I don't want to see fucking Liverpool win the league. The City have to win that game, but that's a tough game.
No, it is a very tough game. That's Palace. It depends what Palace turn up. If the Palace turn up the one at the weekend
Yeah.
just gone, that's gonna be a very hard game. But if the rubbish Palace turn up, it could be a walkover for City.
Yeah.
Anyway, that does it for this week, mate. Does it for this episode.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone who's listened. If you'd like to subscribe to our socials, it will be in the description on Spotify or onto YouTube. If you'd like to appear in the podcast, just contact us via any of our socials. Comment underneath the video on YouTube, and we'll get you in. And we're like all fans. We're not. We don't have to be a United fan at Box2Box. You can support anyone. We will have you in. We will give you a grilling about your club. And yeah, that's pretty much everything, bud. Unless you want to add anything, Rez.
No, but 2 in a row, mate. We're back.
We're back. Yeah, we're back on a roll. And get one out. Hopefully, this will go out Tuesday. So this will be the on the 8th. This will go out, and then hopefully we can record it and have one out every single Tuesday. Thank you very much for listening, everyone, and we'll speak to you next time.
Take care.